Hello everybody and welcome to your weekly astrology forecast. If we haven't already met, my name is Yelena Crawford. Welcome to my channel. So I have decided to switch things up a little bit on this channel. I'm gonna now be doing, as you can see, a weekly astrology forecast where I break down the specific transits of each week. So 2 forecasts per month will be general forecasts, just breaking down the general energies of the week. And then the weeks where there's a new moon and a full moon, I'll be going just a bit further and breaking down individual readings for all 12 zodiac signs for your sun, moon, and rising signs. So we are gonna go ahead and get into this right now, but I do have a couple quick announcements for you. So I had a couple people asking me why I'm not doing the guided meditations that I used to do for my new and full moon videos. While there are certain amounts of people who did enjoy that, there are also people who are just looking specifically for the astrology. So I had to find a little happy medium there. So for those of you who did enjoy the guided meditations, or maybe you didn't get to experience it but would like to, there is going to be a link below. I've released the free guided meditation for the new moon specifically that you can download below. And then I'll also have a full moon free guided meditation for you by the end of the month. One more freebie that I have for you, if you are somebody who likes to follow the cycles of the moon or would like to learn how, I do have a freebie journal insert, which is an 8-page insert breaking down each lunar phase with journal prompts. If you want to learn specifically about the 8 phases, how to manifest and work with them, I'll pop my video up all about moon manifestation on the screen right now, where I do a mini webinar explaining all of these amazing things. Okay, enough announcements for now, but this is how these readings are going to be structured. So basically at the beginning, I'm going to be giving you a general forecast of some of the most important transits being broken down from today, which is Friday, May 7th, all the way to Thursday, May 13th. And then we're gonna break it down into the forecast for all 12 zodiac signs. So make sure you stick with this beginning part so that you can get the overall general view of everything that's going on, and then you can compare it to your own individual reading. One other side note here, you have to understand that these are very general forecasts, and because your individual birth chart has very different and specific placements, these transits may or may not be hitting you directly. So if there is a lot of stuff going on in your life and you'd like the opportunity to maybe understand it and go a little bit deeper, I will also leave links below to schedule a reading with me directly. We can work on general transits, natal chart, or maybe even do a solar return talking about the energies of the entire year coming up ahead of you. But enough of announcements today. Let's go ahead and get into the reading, you guys. So I have a lot of little notes here that I've taken for you. As you all know, we are in Taurus season. So we are in fixed energy. So if you think about what fixed energy entails, it's basically the middle of a season. So we've already come into spring. There's been a lot of changes, a total change in temperature, a total change of energy when Aries season hit. Taurus is kind of the middle of the season where everything is more stable. There's not as much change. It's more fixed, stable, grounded, practical energy, right? So that is what we are amongst right now. Now, there are 3 specific highlights of transits for this week where we are going to have quite a bit of shift in energy, which is really exciting because one of these specifically is one that I've been waiting on for a really long time, and that is the fact that Jupiter, the planet of luck and abundance and expansion, is going to be moving into its home sign of Pisces, as well as we've got Venus, the planet of love and romance and relationships, moving into the sign of Gemini, and we also have the Taurus new moon. So we've got a lot of really good energy coming up this week, and I want to break it down day by day to give you guys a little bit of a synopsis. Maybe you can plan your days out based off of the astrology, or just so that you know in general what the heck to expect. Right? So we are going to start with today, which is Friday, May 7th. The illumination is in Taurus. So we've got the sun lighting up this area, giving us this lens our soul is currently perceiving the energies through, which is a little bit more slowed down. It's been really nice since we stepped out of Mars being in Gemini, where everything was just super fast paced. We were all over the place. We probably started one too many projects, had our hand in way too many things. And now we're being given this opportunity to step into this more receptive, rest and retreat, feminine energy of Taurus, which I'm really liking. But then we are going to have the moon ingressing, which means that it moves into a brand new zodiac sign. Like I said, this is nothing new. The moon moves into a new zodiac sign every 2 to 3 days. This is just part of the moon cycle, but it's moving into Aries. The moon is so in Aries. The moon is usually like a more motherly, nurturing, feminine, receptive planet that kind of exudes that kind of energy, and Aries is the exact opposite. Aries is super active. It is a little bit more aggressive, confrontational. So this can make us have maybe some volatile emotions. But I do want to fill you in on what phase the moon is in right now and what is a better way to kind of go about living through this energy. So basically we are in a balsamic moon phase. This is the final phase before we start a brand new moon cycle. So we are in a waning stage, which means that it is a dark moon. And this is a time when we're not really supposed to be very active. It is the yin of the moon cycle, which means that we're more laid back, we're retreating, we're taking care of our body, we're getting a lot of rest. You might even find that you're a little bit more tired at this time. But for some reason with the moon in Aries, we may have this emotional need to want to be super active, to get up, to be busy, to move our body. We might even feel this like emotional volatility. So just honor the fact that this is a dark moon, that we are about to start a new moon phase, and try to see if you can rest and retreat even amongst any type of inner chaos or chaos with the body and a load of energy that you might feel. So then we've got Venus, which is in its home sign of Taurus, where it is super duper powerful right now, is going to be at that 29th degree, which is the final degree of Taurus. Every house in the zodiac chart is made up of only 30 degrees, and the 29th degree is like an urgent final degree of something. So Venus is going to be making a square to Jupiter, which is over in Aquarius. So we've got the two benefic planets, two planets that are just the most positive in the entire chart, but they're making a challenging aspect to each other, which won't bring too much of a challenge because they are such powerful and positive planets. But this is definitely not the best energy if you want to get anything serious done. This is going to be happening in the morning about 9:37 a.m. It could potentially bring overindulgence for sure. We could be maybe inflating romantic something or other, inflating some type of ideas or belief systems pertaining to some type of relationship or friendship that we might be in, caring too much what others think. Maybe we're trying a little bit hard to be different. That would be the Jupiter in Aquarius. Aquarius is all about maybe just being so eccentric and weird and really priding yourself in that. And maybe we're trying a little bit too hard to impress people by being different, being weird, being wacky. And yeah, we are just maybe overinflating that a little bit too far. But other than that, it's generally a pretty positive transit. And then finally, wrapping up the day on Saturday, we've got Venus. Once again, the planet of love, beauty, harmony, relationships. It also rules things like aesthetics and makeup and cosmetics and money and finances. So she is going to be leaving her home sign of Taurus, and she's going to be entering the sign of Gemini. Gemini is all air. It's all mind. It's all intellect, communication, thought processes. This is going to be happening at 10 o'clock p.m. So any of you who have Venus in Gemini, you will be having a Venus return. I am also one of those people. That's pretty much the reason why I mention it. But we should definitely be feeling a significant change with Venus and Gemini. Venus is basically our relationships and the way that we interact with other people. So being in Gemini, it's definitely mentally stimulating type of energy. So we may find ourselves being a little bit more interested in people who stimulate our mind and keep us entertained, right? So we might find that we get bored a little bit easier. If you are in the dating scene, you might find that you're dating a couple different people because Gemini is the twins. It's dual in nature. So you might be flip-flopping back and forth between a couple people. But yeah, it's pretty much really positive energy. It's really how we experience pleasure and what we find pleasurable, what we find joyful in life. And I think mental stimulation is going to be where it's at. Taking in information, learning, and communicating and being social with other people is going to be a big theme. She's going to be approaching a place that she retrograded back in May and June of 2020. It's going to be Venus retrograded all the way back to the 5-degree point. So the reason I bring this up, Venus retrogrades. So if you look back to the time of May to June 2020, Venus retrogrades can tend to bring up darkness in relationships. It can bring up friendships, issues with friendships. It can bring up, especially in Gemini, issues with sexual identity or questioning sexual identity, friendship, disputes, self-worth issues, bring up topics about what you value as a person and how you make money, what you spend your money on, what you indulge in, just different types of things like that. So covering these grounds again, now that Venus is entering that spot that she retrograded last year, she's made a whole trip basically around the zodiac. Is coming to the same spot after she has evolved and progressed through all of the zodiac signs over the course of this year. And she's coming to these grounds again to see what she's learned and discovered. So see if any of the same topics from that May and June 2020 period seem to come up for you. Because in the late winter this year, December 2021, we will be having another Venus retrograde, which will be in the sign of Capricorn this time. And last time it was in Gemini, which is air, which is very communicative. It's our thought processes. It maybe gives us different ideas, or it has us ruminating and really thinking internally about certain things, gives us certain ideas, bring things to the forefront of our intellectual thinking mind, where now we're going to be having it in an earth sign. So whatever those thoughts were from the previous cycle, it's going to be bringing into physical form. This is earth energy. It's all about the physical manifestation of things, things that we can touch and tangibly with our hands. So this is going to be a lot more physical, which is going to be very interesting indeed. Also, another interesting thing is that Mercury is going to be retrograding at the end of May over all of these same areas that this Venus retrograde took place and that Venus is going to be moving across now. So it's just really bringing a lot of this Venus and Gemini area up to the forefront. We'll be talking about where that hits for you in the forecast for all 12 signs, so just stick with me. And then we also have a solar eclipse, which is crazy. It's going to really change things up coming up in June in this same area. So we've got a lot of this Gemini energy coming up to the forefront. Like I said, it means change. It means karmic and fated things coming into your life. So just wait. We are going to be talking about the eclipses in the future, but I'll touch on this a little bit in the forecast. We are now moving into Sunday, which is going to be May 9th. And this is when the moon is going to be still in Aries, but will be making a challenging square aspect over to Pluto, which is currently retrograde in Capricorn. This is going to be about 1:15 p.m. That moon in Aries is that kind of volatile, emotional issue type of energy, being a little bit more frustrated emotionally, a little bit more confrontational in our inner world, maybe with family or in the home life, and potential conflict with mothers, family members. But this is going to be squaring Pluto and Capricorn. So this could potentially be where something internally is being drudged up inside of us that is making us take a major look at it so that we decide that we need to make a change in our emotional state. Maybe we have some type of emotional outburst or confrontation or aggressive energy that comes up, or maybe we lash out at somebody from our family or one of our friends, and we realize that this is something that has come from a long time ago that is being drudged up inside of us that we don't want in our lives anymore, which is going to cause us to have some type of transformation where we need to take action in order to transform something. This could bring up obsessive tendencies or power and control issues in some way. So just keep an eye out for that theme. This could be something that's very internal as well because Pluto is retrograde. So something that you're really battling with of intensity in the afternoon on Sunday. And finally, we've got the moon, which is going to be moving into the sign of Taurus at 7:50 p.m. The moon is what's called exalted in Taurus. So it really loves to be in the sign of Taurus. It brings out the best of its energy, the best of its significations. It is really grounded emotions. It's intuition that we experience through our body where we're feeling through everything and we're really connected with nature. We're really grounded in ourselves and standing strong in our power. It's really comfortable energy pertaining to the body and how we experience our surroundings. So the moon in Taurus is really, really great energy. Then we move into Monday, which is May 10th. We've got the day starting off with the moon in a tight conjunction, which is when it comes together like this, really close with Uranus, which is the planet of sudden upheaval, sudden change, shakeups, rebellion, revolt, all of these types of things. Now, when I think of the moon coming together with Uranus, sometimes because the moon is my chart ruler, I will feel this in my body. The moon rules the body. Uranus rules electricity and the nervous system. So sometimes you can legitimately feel like you have electricity going through your body. I woke up in the middle of the night, had a hard time getting back to sleep, checked the transits, and moon was with Uranus or making some type of crazy aspect with Uranus. So this could potentially be something that's very physical. You could just feel an emotional need for freedom in some way, shape, or form in your life, which is making you feel a little bit more rebellious, making you feel like you need to release oppression and just break free, but you may not know how to quite do that yet. And then the moon later is going to be moving and squaring Saturn in Aquarius, which could bring some sadness. It could bring an emotional depression of sorts when we realize that this freedom that we want, this rebellion that we're trying to execute to exit our situation that seems oppressive, that seems to be constricting us or limiting us in some way. We realize the limitations of that. We realize the boundaries. We realize that it's going to take time. There are restrictions. There is some need to change, and we can't in some way, or we can't right away, right now, or it might be the other way around where we don't want to change something and we have to. We're being forced to. So just kind of watch out for those themes in your life at this time as well. And then we're going to move on to another big day, which is Tuesday, May 11th, where the new moon in Taurus happens. So we've got the day starting out with the moon when it conjuncts the sun. So when they come nice and close together in the sky, that is called a new moon. And this is happening where the moon is exalted, where the moon loves to be in its home sign, well, in its exalted sign of Taurus. This is happening at 21 degrees. So if you have any planets or points anywhere around the 21 degree mark, I would say 10 degrees on either side, this is going to be hitting that directly. This is happening at about 2:59 p.m. Super exciting. This is really good for rest and reset because we've got a lot of crazy energy coming up near the end of the month. We've got Mercury retrograde, we've got eclipse season, and we've got a lot of other things that I won't even mention. Another hit of our Saturn-Uranus square that's a theme throughout this year, which we'll get into in future weekly forecasts. But for now, this is a great time to rest and reset. Like I said, we need that slow down time. We need to be able to wrap our mind around everything that's happened in the past and where we plan to go in the future. Taurus is a great sign pertaining to long-term commitments and goals and where we're heading in the future. So it's a really good sign that loves to plan for the long term. It is not afraid to work diligently over the course of a long period of time to make something happen. So this is a good time to set long-term goals and intentions for the next coming 6 months, right? Because new moons whatever we set in place now, whatever seed that we plant, we may see a baby mini culmination of it at the full moon at the end of the month in 2 weeks. But mainly we'll start to see the fruits of our labor in 6 months, which will be occurring at the full moon in Taurus, right? In 6 months. So it's a really good time to reset or reevaluate our morals, our ethics, our values. Are we living in integrity? Are we hanging out and in relationships with people, friendships with people, loving relationships, partnerships with people that we truly value, that truly value us, and that are in alignment with where we're trying to go long term? So this is something that we really want to pay attention and get ourselves in alignment with. So it's all about reevaluating these love relationships. And this could, because Taurus does rule finances and material resources and things that are physical in nature, this could bring in some type of financial opportunity or financial windfall, or maybe some type of material resource, some type of physical object or something that you might purchase or you may intend to purchase in the future. So it's also a great time to indulge in things, this new moon. It's a great time to rest and retreat, take care of ourselves, prepare for a busy another moon cycle that lies ahead of us. Taurus loves to experience life through the 5 senses. So holding on to soft blankets and smelling candles that fill up your house with a beautiful aroma. Also, looking at all the plants and the trees and the beautiful colored flowers on your walks, tasting fine wines and cheeses and delicious foods. The only reason I know this so well is because I'm a Taurus sun, you guys. So I'm telling you from experience. But yeah, slowing down, relaxing, getting in alignment, and reassessing everything before this Mercury retrograde and all of this craziness is set in motion. So happy new moon. I'm really excited about it. So after the new moon, which is kind of interesting, we've got Mars, the planet of war, aggression, confrontation. It's also our motivation, our life force energy, and our will to want to achieve things. It's going to be in a challenging square aspect with Chiron, the wounded healer. So there is a potential that something could happen. This is going to be occurring about 7:53 p.m. So around to this day and the next day, we may be noticing something where something sets us off and it maybe hits a core wound within us and it causes us to get angry or have a flash of aggression or anger in some possible way that requires us to maybe take some type of action in order to make a change in our lives. So just watch out for maybe little triggers or things that activate some type of core wounding within you. Try to be as self-aware as possible and as conscious as possible. And like I said, just keep an eye out for it and try to make sense of it in your own mind. Moving on to Wednesday, May 12th, we really don't have too much going on this day. Basically, the only thing that I felt was worthwhile even bringing up was that the fact that the moon is moving into Gemini, which we've got all this Gemini energy, and the moon is entering its waxing phase, which is when energy starts to return. The light starts to return for the moon. It's building up towards its full moon phase. Once again, we're starting to feel more energized, and it's time to kind of put our actions and motion and get our gears turning towards those intentions that we set at the new moon. So moon is in Gemini, it's getting our mind ticking. It's all about our thought processes and kind of that mind-body connection, right? So we are going to be ready. We're going to get some ideas. We're going to get some downloads. And we're going to be feeling it in our body to get busy, start studying, put it down on paper, do whatever it is that we need to do. And then finally, you guys, we're going to be moving into Thursday, May 13th, which is the best day because Jupiter is going to be moving into Pisces. And I've really been looking forward to this forever because I have Jupiter in Pisces. This will be happening at 6:35 p.m. So what does this all mean? So basically, we're just getting a little preview of what's to come in 2022. Jupiter usually transits a sign for 12 months, but because of its weird retrograde cycle this year, it is moving out of Aquarius and it's moving into Pisces for just 2.5 months. And then it's gonna be staying for a lot longer in 2022. So we're just getting a little brief preview of all the luck, abundance, and expansion that it's gonna bring to us in this Pisces area of our lives from May 13th all the way to July 29th. So Jupiter has been basically answering to Saturn Because prior to this, it's been a year in Capricorn, and then it moved into Aquarius, which are both Saturn-ruled signs. Now, Saturn is the planet that likes to say no to everything. It places limitations and restrictions and boundaries and keeps us stuck and bound. And like I said, he likes to say no, where Jupiter likes to say yes. So unfortunately, Jupiter has been answering to Saturn because he has been in Saturn's home. But now Jupiter is going to be moving out of Saturn's home and moving into Pisces, which is his home. So when a planet enters its own home of rulership, this is called its domicile in ancient astrology. It's basically like if you guys are at home. Like when you're at home, you have everything that you need. You've got your own food, you've got your blankets, you have your shower and everything that you need, your cosmetics, your shampoo and conditioner. You're more comfortable here. You know where everything is. You don't have to answer to anybody. It's your home. So that's basically what's going on with Jupiter. He is moving into his own home, which has been a really long time since Jupiter's been happy and been able to bring us all of the amazing things that he brings us. So Jupiter is known as what's called the Great Benefic, which it brings luck, it brings expansion, it brings us amazing teachers and learning opportunities. It wants to say yes to everything. It also helps us to bring in higher knowledge and a sense of awakening and spiritual awakening and perspective shifts and everything like that. So being that it's in the sign of Pisces, this is going to make everything be a lot more compassionate and empathetic. Creativity is going to be at the forefront, and our relationships with other people are going to be more loving and harmonious. So this sounds really exciting to me. Pisces is also the sign, it's a water sign, psychically sensitive, super crazy intuition, very much an empath. With Jupiter expanding upon all of this, you may notice that you start to get a little bit more sensitive in these areas, right? Maybe you are sensing things in the body more than you usually would, or you just have a psychic intuitive nudge about something, and you're able to kind of download knowledge better than you've ever been able to before. I really honestly think too, since Pisces rules spiritual awakening, there are going to be another wave of individuals waking up on this planet to the truth behind reality, to what's going on with the infrastructures in the world, that we don't have a solid foundation that everything is based upon, that there's a lot of corruption, that everything is really crooked, and that we are basically spirit souls living a human experience, not humans having a spiritual experience, right? And just a lot of different realizations, another wave of people waking up to the truth, basically, behind reality. Also, this is going to really help. Jupiter rules faith, and it's a very optimistic, jovial, happy planet that has big life philosophies, loves to see the bigger picture. So basically all of those things are going to be expanded on. It's going to be a time when I truly believe, and this is what my teacher Achuta said, that we are going to see a little bit of faith restored in humanity and the way that humanity sees the world. So we're just going to be getting a little glimpse of what's to come in 2022. So I don't know about you guys, but that really makes me very, very excited. And now I want to go ahead and move into forecasts for all 12 zodiac signs. So you are going to want to check primarily for your rising sign, secondarily for your sun sign, and then also you can check for your moon sign, but that's going to be more so an internal experience because the moon represents your inner emotional world and your private inner life. So basically check for your rising sign first. We're going to go ahead and start with Aries rising and Aries sun. So Aries, this Venus in Gemini is going to be occurring in your third house. It's the house of mindset. It's the house of communication. It's the house of learning. And it also rules things like your community, your neighborhood, your neighbors, siblings, different things like that. So there could be harmonious relationships in your community. You could be meeting more people, having a great time, maybe finding a local romance of some sorts, or really feeling like you are mentally connected to a loving relationship, whether that be a friendship or a partner in some way. So this is going to be totally affecting your third house when we have the eclipse here coming up. We've got Venus in Gemini. The moon is going to be moving in here. We've just got a lot of activation, especially with Mercury retrograde and everything taking place here. So there's some type of transformative situation that's going on as it pertains to your mind and your mindset. Maybe you have been on a course where you are learning something new. You're taking in new information. You're learning a new skill set of some sort. And this is really helping you to develop your finances. Maybe you are starting to bring in something new in terms of money because Venus also rules your second house. It also rules partnerships. So there is a potential that you could be bringing in a new partner. Maybe you are finding like you are mentally connected in some way. There is a great mental communication. You are mentally stimulating each other. There's a lot of positive that could be going on here surrounding your finances. Something is going to be happening and being affected somehow here. This could have been something that was set in motion, like I said, from back in May to June of 2020. Maybe it got your wheels ticking and now something is actually starting to move forward. And yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of this coming to fruition right now. And then we've got the Taurus new moon, which is new beginnings. You might be initiating something new, planting seeds for the future in your second house, which is money and finances, resources. So maybe you're thinking about new ways to make money. Maybe you are thinking about purchasing something new, or maybe you're indulging somehow. Maybe you're making a big purchase or spending it on something. A lot of these things are potential possibilities. So basically, whatever you are setting in stone, setting in motion right now, you're probably going to begin to see the fruits of your labor come full moon in Taurus, which is 6 months from now. And then finally, you have Jupiter moving into the sign of Pisces, which is bringing a lot of luck. It's bringing a lot of expansion and optimism into your 12th house, which is a place of spirituality and spiritual awakening. So I think that this could potentially help take you deeper and open up your mind in ways that it wasn't opened before, maybe really expanding on your consciousness and your spiritual belief systems. This is going to be a really good time for rest, retreat, solitude, isolation, introspection, maybe really stepping into spiritual practices a little bit deeper or incorporating more of a meditation practice in your life. This would even be a great opportunity to travel to some retreat or place where you can rest and relax and get that isolation, introspection, and contemplation that you need. Okay, for Taurus rising. So first and foremost, Venus will be moving into the sign of Gemini, where Mercury is already hanging out, where that Mercury retrograde is going to be happening at the end of the month. And this is happening in your second house, which is going to be the house of money, resources, finances, all of those kinds of things. So basically what this is telling me is that Venus is going to be maybe finding multiple ways of bringing in money, bringing in resources. This could even be a potential to maybe overspend on too many things or, have your money out in too many different directions. But this could be a potential for maybe bringing in a new job or kind of balancing a couple different ways of bringing in money and finances. Now, this could be something that was actually set in motion back in May to June of 2020. When that Venus retrograde first started, you were starting to kind of feel something different coming into your life. Maybe it was affecting a job of some sort where you were saying, do I really like this? Do I really value this? Does this bring me joy? Does this bring me pleasure? It could have also been something pertaining to your health routines, nutrition, your daily routines back during that time period. But now we're starting to see this in the second house of resources. This is where Mercury is going to retrograde at the end of the month, which we'll touch on a little bit more later, which is going to really get your gears spinning in your mind, making you very introspective and thinking about how you make money and finances, what you value in terms of money, how you spend your money, and what kind of assets and resources that you're working with here. And then we've got the Taurus new moon, which is going to be happening in your first house. So this is a really big deal. It's going to be happening at 21 degrees, so check to see what degree your ascendant's at, or if you have any planets and points about within 10 degrees on either side of that, and this is really going to be hitting you directly. Being in your first house, this is something new pertaining to you, your identity, your character, who you are as a person. This could be potentially because it's a new moon that's Venus ruled. It could have a lot to do with your appearance. You could be kind of changing something up, undergoing some type of makeover, just really feeling really good about yourself. So whatever it is that you're seeding here will come to fruition mostly in about 6 months from now at that full moon in Taurus mark. But yeah, this is really positive for your physical body, really feeling grounded and stable in the person that you are, and just starting out new beginnings. So if you are looking to change up your identity and your character in some way, this is going to be very, very beneficial for you. And then Taurus, you also have Jupiter, which is going to be moving in to the sign of Pisces in your 11th house, which is really exciting because this could be totally expanding upon your friend circle or networks and groups that you're associated with. You might even be teaching higher knowledge or sharing something or really learning from specific teachers, maybe that you are affiliated with through certain groups or organizations, or maybe even online. Really reaching out and expanding your network on social media, expanding in many different ways where you are learning through some type of technological medium in some way, shape, or form. And this is really honestly such great energy for you to really start building upon and wrapping your mind around what it is that you want to create for your future, your hopes, your dreams, and your wishes towards what it is that you want to set in motion moving forward. Jupiter brings luck, it brings opportunities and expansion for you to actually put those goals and dreams in motion and move towards them. Now, Pisces is a water sign, so this is going to give you a little bit more oomph and intuition as it pertains to what it is you want to do. You might be getting like signs or guideposts of some sort that are going to be directing you in some specific direction. So really keep an eye out for that, but I'd say this is a really good time for you to meet some friends, Taurus. All right, moving on to Gemini rising. So Gemini, you've got a lot of energy hitting your first house, which is the self. It's who you are, it's your identity, it's your persona. When people meet you, it's the first impression that they get. It also has to do with your physical body and your overall general physical health, but really more so your identity. Something with your identity is being brought to the forefront. And this could potentially be something pertaining to your looks. Maybe you're changing your appearance in some way because Venus is moving in here, and Venus does represent things like aesthetics and the way that we look, our beauty, different change of hair or cosmetic procedures and makeup, changing things up like that. Now, also this could be bringing to the forefront things pertaining to the 12th house, which could involve basically really being called to take time out to rest and retreat, find solitude, seclusion, introspection, making sure that you take time out for yourself because there's something within you that is deeply changing at the core. The way that you interact with people in relationships, maybe the type of friendships that you have, and how you value yourself really is all changing. So you're gonna need a lot of time to kind of marinate on this, and that Mercury retrograde that's going to be coming through your first house is really going to help you go inward and get deep and introspective about the person that you're becoming and the changes that you're making. So you will need a little bit of that solitude, a little bit of that seclusion. But I do believe that there is going to be a lot of opportunity for you here to bring in joy, to bring in creativity, what makes you happy, maybe even bringing in some romance a little bit, because this Venus energy is also bringing in the energy of the 5th house, which is love and romance. It's the things that make us happy. It's the hobbies that we do because they bring us joy, because we love to do them. So this is going to bring you front and center stage, having to do with some type of creative self-expression that you're really stepping into, which is beautiful. Now, this is something that may have started, or you were really changing in this way and it came up for you somehow starting in May through June of 2020 when Venus was retrograding over these areas that it's about to move. So a lot of this is bringing coming into the forefront. Just try to maybe go back to May and June of 2020 and see how that may have affected you. But then, Geminis, we've got this Taurus new moon, which is taking place in your 12th house, which kind of expands upon the themes of that rest, retreat, solitude, seclusion, really going deep within yourself. Sometimes this can bring up where we have intentions to do some deep healing work, really kind of unveiling and discovering what it is deep down in our subconscious mind that could be blocking us or holding us back from achieving what it really is that we want to achieve long term, those goals that we want to move towards in our lives, right? How we might be self-sabotaging ourselves. So really kind of having the opportunity to do some deep healing in these areas is going to be super important. So we might have an opportunity to work with somebody, or maybe study astrology, or basically do some type of deep diving within ourselves. Whatever that healing work might look for you, there is a major theme of it here. So you definitely are going to be needing that time away from the everyday hustle and bustle of the world to kind of go a little bit more deep within yourself and do some soul searching, some deep diving. And then finally, Gemini, we've got Jupiter, which is the sign of luck, love, abundance, expansion, opportunity. And that is moving into your 10th house, which is huge. There is a huge opportunity for you to be stepping into some form of healing as it pertains to this creative self-expression that's unfolding into your career and how people see you out in the world. That is amazing. You are really expanding in the next 2.5 months in your working world. How you're seen out in the world, there's going to be a lot of opportunities. You might have somebody come in that really helps you to achieve something, or that teaches you tricks of the trade in business. You might even be starting some type of spiritual business, or really developing a spiritual business that you already have in place. This is fantastic energy. I wish you the very best, but it's also tied in with your 7th house of relationships. So like I said, there could be a potential for a love partnership, business partnership, maybe even signing some type of contract that specifically affects you in the working world and your career and your public life. Cancer rising. So Cancers, we've got this Venus and Gemini situation with that Mars retrograde occurring at the end of the month, huge solar eclipse happening here in June. There is a lot of action going on in the 12th house. The 12th house pertains to things like self-undoing behaviors. This could be maybe potential friends or overindulgences that we might have that help us to self-sabotage ourselves. Those kind of things may be brought up to the forefront here. Maybe it is that we are too overindulgent and putting our energy into too many different partner prospects, and that is causing us self-sabotage and to not really have what it is that we truly want and desire, that brings us joy, that brings us happiness. And it's a lot of this deep diving that we need to do within ourselves to try to figure out what it is that we need to change within us on a deep subconscious level to set us on the right path. Also, this is just a really good time to enjoy and find pleasure in solitude, in rest, in retreat. Maybe we are spending a little bit more time in meditation, or that we are indulging in self-care, really stepping away from the world and kind of taking care of ourselves, being deep into introspection and contemplation so that we can do the healing work that needs to be done, right? And then we've also got, let's see here, so whatever these topics are that might be coming up for you surrounding Venus entering the sign of Gemini in the house of self-undoing behaviors and loss, and sometimes solitude and seclusion. This is something that could have potentially come up to the surface for you. These can also be things that may be suppressed within us that we don't even quite realize. It can be really hard to bring to the forefront and heal and undo. But this could potentially have come up for you back in May, around May to June 2020, when Venus was retrograde. So just maybe try to go back and think about what could have potentially come up during that time. Moving on now to the Taurus new moon, which is going to be occurring in your 11th house. This is beautiful energy for planting new seeds and intentions and new beginnings as it pertains to friendships and maybe associations with groups and organizations that really help to benefit you in life. Now, the 11th house is like friends, allies, and benefactors that really help you get to where it is that you really want to go in life. They have some type of really strong positive effect on you, while also bringing you a lot of joy because it's all friendship, right? And then also this could really benefit and help set in motion these, like for long term, because we're talking Taurus here. So this is stuff that's being set in motion and grounded for the long term, that is being brought to physicality because it's earth, right? It's manifesting, pertaining to your goals, your hopes, your dreams, and your wishes. Maybe there's something that you're doing out there in the world in front of an audience, or maybe you want to have an audience. You're doing something over technology, trying to build a following of some sort, or maybe you're trying to establish or create some type of new group or organization. Whatever it might be, this is really, really positive and beneficial energy that you will start to see the fruits of your labor manifest about 6 months from now during that full moon in Taurus. Finally, Cancers, we've got Jupiter moving into the sign of Pisces in your 9th house, which is all about expansion of higher knowledge. You're going to be getting some great opportunities here to potentially teach other people or be learning from a very influential teacher, maybe some type of guru, somebody that's extremely knowledgeable. And this has a very big potential to be spiritual in nature. This could also be deepening you into your spiritual awakening further, or causing you to potentially have a spiritual awakening where your mind is expanded, your belief systems are changed about the reality of the world at large, how you see the world, how you perceive things, and you realize that there's a lot more going on behind this physical reality that we can touch, smell, taste, and hear with our 5 senses. There's a lot more that we can't see beyond this veil, which is all tied in with that Piscean energy. So this is super, super great in terms of expanding your knowledge base, bringing in higher knowledge. Maybe you get an opportunity to go to some type of university and get a degree furthering your studies in something. Or maybe you get an opportunity to travel, because the 9th house is travel at a distance. So maybe you get the opportunity to go somewhere. I know that traveling's kind of weird right now, but this could potentially open things up a little bit and kind of open up an avenue for you to go experience life through travels and associating with different cultures and immersing yourself in things like that. So overall, amazing energy. All right, Leo rising. So Leo, we've got Venus moving into the sign of Gemini in your 11th house. This is super amazing, beneficial energy for you to be talking to friends, communicating, having your mind intellectually stimulated by groups and organizations, people that you associate with via the internet. But really, this is going to be great because Venus represents women in general and friendships. So really nice, harmonious energy as it pertains to friendship, exchanging ideas, communication, being really busy mentally, maybe passing ideas back and forth, learning things from other people that you share some type of group affiliation with. So this is really exciting. You might even have some beneficial ideas come to the forefront where it's going to help you step into more of your creative self-expression and what you want to achieve for the future in terms of your goals, your hopes, your dreams, and your ambitions for what you want to create. Now, this energy is going to be big in this house for you because we just have Mars leave there. We also have Mercury retrograding here at the end of the month, which we'll touch on more in a further week. And we also have an eclipse coming up here. There's a lot of change going on. There's a lot happening in this house. So I don't know if maybe there is something pertaining to you building a following or having some type of audience or maybe sharing a message in some way. But there is super harmonious energy here as it pertains to relationships with friends and people in group associations. Also, you have a Taurus new moon coming up in the 10th house. This is fantastic. So What this is telling me is that we've got so much energy taking place in the house of friends and goals and hopes and dreams, wishes, ambitions, building a following, reaching out and talking to people over the internet via electronics and social media. And this is tying in completely and harmoniously with your 10th house of career, really developing and expanding upon you and what you're trying to set in motion and planting seeds to achieve in the future. So maybe you get this idea that you want to plant a seed and start to move towards. And this is something that's going to be able to be manifested. That's going to be for the long term. That's going to be super grounded in reality, physical, tangible, because we're talking Taurus here, which is Earth, right? And this is something that you may not manifest that quickly, but we will start to see the fruits of your labor in about 6 months at the full moon in Taurus. So this is really amazing and an amazing opportunity for you. These are very positive houses, very influential houses. Then you've got Jupiter, the planet of luck, expansion, abundance, higher education and learning, moving into the house of Pisces, which is your 8th house, which is telling me that there is a potential you could be benefiting from maybe a partner's resources in some way. Maybe your partner gets a raise at work, or maybe sometimes the 8th house can bring benefits through somebody else's downfall. So sometimes that's why it's associated with inheritances through death, or maybe we receive money through taxes. Maybe tax returns are coming in and you got really nice big cut this year. Or maybe you are applying for some type of investment. So it's increasing your debt in some way, but you get to invest it into something amazing moving forward, which is really going to benefit you in the future and help you expand upon whatever it is that you're growing. Another awesome thing that I love about this energy in the 8th house is that this is spiritual healing at its finest. There might be some type of person that comes in to really help you do some deep inner healing psychologically on some traumas or just some deep things within yourself that need to be healed, whether it's sexual in nature or whatever it might be. Jupiter wants to bring an opportunity to help you heal and really grow and flourish in this area. But it will be taking a lot of work from you on your part as well. You may even find that you have a deeper relationship with occult topics. Maybe you are somebody who likes to study the tarot or astrology or human design, or maybe you dabble in paganism or different things like this. You might find that you have a teacher, somebody that teaches you a little bit deeper of an understanding than you previously had, or maybe you have an opportunity to teach these types of topics. But that is what I'm seeing for you this week, Leo. All right, Virgo. So we've got Venus moving into the sign of Gemini in your 10th house. What amazing energy we've got going on here. So Venus is bringing a lot of blessings, a lot of harmony and love and amazing things into the house of career and public sector, where you are known out in the world. So there's a potential to be really collaborating with a lot of different people here. Maybe you are bringing in new work relationships or business partnerships where you are really learning a lot, being intellectually stimulated, and really bringing in a lot of harmony in the work department. Also, it's just bringing in work that you really enjoy doing, that you find a lot of love in, that you find a lot of harmony in. There even is maybe a potential to bring in a romantic partner that you could potentially have some type of business affiliation with. Maybe you meet them through doing what it is that you do for work, or maybe you go into some type of collaboration with a partner in some way, shape, or form. Now, this is very interesting because whatever it is, you are stepping into what it is that you love to do, or you're expanding upon that in some way. And this may have been something that was touched on during the Venus retrograde back in May and June of 2020. So maybe you could take a little mental adventure back to that time period and think what it was that was kind of introspectively being set in motion, bringing it to the forefront for you to review, because Mercury will also be retrograding in this house, kind of taking it more internal and making you review this area once again. So there's a lot of stuff going to be happening in the 10th house of career. We've got an eclipse going to be happening in this house in June. Something is changing. There's some type of fated, destined, karmic thing that's happening here. Maybe you're doing something where you're teaching, or you're doing something pertaining to journalism, where you're using the mind a lot. You're stimulating other people's minds. You're intellectually stimulated yourself. Then we've also got Taurus moving into its new moon with the sun in the 9th house of higher education, of travel, of our belief systems, our religious affiliations, and spirituality. So this is really telling me that this is going to be helping you to really expand spiritually. Maybe there's going to be some traveling that you'd like to do in the future that you want to set in motion. So you start to plant little seeds right now that could potentially come to fruition about 6 months from now with the full moon in Taurus. Maybe it is that you are going to be taking on some course in higher learning. You're going to be expanding upon something that you've already learned before. You're going to be learning something new, and you are starting to kind of set the intentions and set that in motion right now. There is also a potential that this could be changing your outlook or your belief systems about the world at large. Maybe opening your mind up to things that you had never quite thought of before. Maybe your mind was stuck in a certain way, fixed at some point in your life, and now it's starting to kind of open up and you're seeing things a little bit more clearly and differently. So that's always really positive as well. And then we've got Jupiter, which will be moving into the sign of Pisces, and that's going to be in your 7th house, which, wow, this is pretty good energy. If you are looking for a partnership, a business partner, this is going to be giving you a little bit of a glimpse into what 2022 is going to be looking like for you. You could be collaborating a lot with other people. You could be potentially teaching or working with people on a one-to-one basis, or you could find somebody that you have an opportunity to get into a long-term committed relationship with, that you see the same things spiritually, you have the same belief systems. There's a lot of compassion, there's a lot of love and creativity involved in all of this. I think that this is looking like pretty good energy for you, Virgo. There's a lot of harmony in the love and relationship department. Even if it's just collaboration or business partnerships, very close, intimate relationships that you have. This could be friendships, family members. It's all looking good for you. So I would be very excited about that, Virgo. All right, Libra, so we've got Venus and Gemini, which will be moving into your 9th house, which is really exciting energy because Venus is our relationships and the way that we interrelate with other people. So this is going to bring a lot of harmony as it pertains to how we view relationships, what our morals and ethics are as it pertains to relationships, and our belief systems about what we feel that we deserve in a relationship, how we want our relationships to be, and what we expect back from our partners. So this might help us align a little bit better, or have just maybe differing viewpoints as it pertains to those types of topics. So we also might find that we are more intellectually stimulated as it pertains to topics like philosophy and religion and the way that the world is and the truth behind reality that we're able to share with friendships or partners, and it becomes a little bit more harmonious and intellectually stimulating and makes it a little bit more fun that we can share these things with other people. It might even be our desire, something that we find really joyful and pleasurable right now as it pertains to immersing ourselves in other cultures, and foreign travel or traveling at a distance is something that we might really desire to do right now that we're trying to put in motion. So basically, Mercury will also be retrograding here at the end of the month, which we'll touch on a little bit later. And Venus is going to be traveling over the spot that she retrograded last May and June of 2020. So after she has evolved and grown a lot in this department of basically your world philosophies, your belief systems, and everything like that, she's kind of coming back to that position and seeing how much you've changed in that department, covering those grounds once again, which Mercury is also going to be touching. So see if there's any of those topics that might be coming back to the forefront for you. Maybe the way that you view relationships, your thought processes on that, what you value in terms of the money and finances that you have. What are your views and your belief systems about those kind of things? As well as the Taurus new moon is going to be happening in your 8th house. This is bringing a lot of new energy, initiations, new beginnings, setting things in motion as it pertains to joint finances in some way. So there might be something new coming in. Maybe you're going to be gaining money in some way because it is Taurus. Taurus does rule over finances and things that we can visibly, tangibly touch with our hands. So maybe you're getting something new through a partner. Maybe a partner, you're going to be benefiting through money that a partner receives through work. Maybe they're getting a raise or something like that. Or maybe this is some type of new debt that you take on or something like that. Also, this could potentially be a healing opportunity where you're really kind of taking a look at some deep traumas and wounds psychologically affecting you, and you're having the opportunity in the months to come to really step into doing the healing work surrounding this, where you're able to say, how do I value myself? Where can I improve upon that? How can I step into more of my truth? Really establishing a clear sense of what my morals and ethics are in my life so that people value and respect me more because I value and respect myself. So you're going to be getting an opportunity to do this as well. There is a potential as well to be studying occult topics, things that are a little bit more taboo in nature that are not as popular out in the world, like astrology, numerology, or, just anything like that that is spiritual in nature, a little bit more interesting. Maybe you dabble in psychic abilities or intuition or something like that. So these are all things, whatever you're setting in motion, whatever seed you're planting, you're going to begin to see this come to a little bit of a culmination 6 months from now at the full moon in Taurus. And finally, Libras, we've got Jupiter, which is moving into the sign of Pisces, which is in your 6th house. The 6th house is the house of work. It is hard work. It is going to help you out in that area, though. So it might expand upon and bring you new work opportunities. It might even bring more harmony and unity, things like that. More really understanding, deeper understanding with your coworkers or maybe the people that employ you. And also, this is the house of physical health, our daily routines, nutrition, diet, our workout routines. So you might really feel an urge to kind of expand upon your daily health regimes. Maybe you realize that you want to get a lot healthier. You want to start eating a bunch of superfoods. Maybe you invest in a gym membership or you buy a yoga membership and you really start to take care of your physical health. But really, this is absolutely excellent energy. You might actually be learning something new too, or maybe expanding upon being of service to other people, because the 6th house is selfless service. It's the things that we do for other people. So these are all areas that may be coming to the forefront where you are being brought gifts of luck and expansion and opportunity in these areas. All right, Scorpio. So Scorpio, Venus is going to be entering the sign of Gemini in your 8th house. What this is telling me is that there is going to be some very deep healing or a potential to really dive deep into any type of trauma or, psychological issues that might be pertaining to love and relationships or friendships that could have caused you some pain in the past, where you're going to be able to kind of look at things from many different perspectives and kind of see things and heal things with many different opportunities and modalities. And there might be some opportunities where you have to go back and forth and do this a couple times, because Gemini is the twins. It is that double-natured energy. So sometimes when we do things, we have to do things again. But in the long run, it's really going to completely benefit us. This is also a potential to maybe get some type of gain through a partner, finances, because it is Venus. Venus rules over finances, which is also tied in with your 7th house of partnership and marriage. So you might even be bringing in some finances, or somehow potentially your finances may become combined. I don't know if maybe you're getting married or you're solidifying a partnership or you're combining your finances in some way, shape, or form. Or potentially maybe this is a business partnership or business endeavor where you're signing some type of contract that locks you in, where you're somehow your finances are going to be received from another person person, or they're tied up in some type of mortgage or something like that, because Taurus also does represent mortgages and physical things, resources like homes. So you could potentially be buying a home or something like that, or signing or paying off a mortgage or paying off debt in some way. These are just a couple things and couple ways that I see this potentially playing out. There is also a possibility to really intellectually stimulate yourself at this time and finding a lot of joy and pleasure in studying things that are of occult in nature, things that are a little bit deeper, like psychology, spiritual psychology, maybe human design, astrology, tarot cards, things that are a little bit darker and spiritual in nature. And then Scorpio, you have a new moon going on in your 7th house, which is bringing a lot of new beginnings and a place where you could potentially want to set an intention to create something long-term with your partner. This could be really setting something new in terms of what you value in terms of relationships and how you want to move forward based off of your new set of value systems, where you are in your integrity with your morals and your ethics of how you stand as a person and what you value in relationship with another and how you want another person to value you. There is also a potential here that it could bring in maybe some type of long-term relationship, or maybe it's that you've been dating somebody and it's something that is solidified for the long term. Maybe you're moving in together or doing something like that. Maybe you're sharing some type of money or resources, but overall, this is really positive energy that's going to be happening in your house of relationships. And then we've got Jupiter, which is moving into the sign of Pisces. And this is super positive. That's going to be happening for about 2.5 months in a really good house for you too, because it's the house of the things that bring us joy. It's the house of good fortune. It is the house of sex and romance and play and all of those kinds of things, which makes it even more of a potential to really enjoy a partnership that you're in, where you guys go out and you have a lot more fun together. Maybe you kind of bring in a little bit more romance that could have potentially been lost, or maybe you start meeting somebody, dating somebody that could end up resulting in a relationship with that Taurus new moon that manifests into something a little bit more serious 6 months down the road at the Taurus full moon. You never know. This could also just indicate that you are expanding upon and being given opportunities to really step into your sense of creative self-expression. This is the house of performance. It's the house of athletes. It's the house of actors and dancers and all types of creative expressions like artists and singers and things like that. So whatever that's looking like for you, where you are kind of channeling your spirit soul through what it is that you do, bringing you a lot of joy, bringing you a lot of pleasure. So this energy is looking really good, Scorpios. All right, Sagittarius. So we've got Venus moving into the sign of Gemini, which is going to be happening in your 7th house, which is really interesting. This could potentially bring some type of romantic endeavor. Maybe you're dating a couple different people, or you're being super intellectually stimulated by a partner. Really enjoy indulging in communication and learning new things about your partner and learning things that they're teaching you, or just really keeping those gears in your mind moving and keeping you really stimulated and not bored and really excited, bringing you a lot of joy, because Venus does represent our relationships and the way that we relate with other people, and which means that we need to keep that intellectual stimulation going when it is in Gemini. This is going to bring a lot of harmony into your 7th house. So there's a potential for new friends coming in, or maybe a partnership that really brings you a lot of joy. So then Venus is also tied in with the 11th house of friends, allies, benefactors, people that help us to achieve things and get to a certain status level in life, our goals, our hopes, our dreams, our wishes, ambitions, and the different organizations that we're associated with. So there could be friends that are coming in, and maybe this is from work, or maybe this is from maybe working out in a gym or some type of organization that you're involved with. And you're meeting all of these different types of people. You're communicating and you're really enjoying life, meeting new friends, building new relationships as it pertains to being of service out in the world, or somehow pertaining to your work environment. So that's really exciting. This also is where Mercury is going to be retrograding. So this is going to bring a lot of introspection at the end of the month, which we're going to talk about in a later video. But there's a lot of inner dialogue going to be taking place, a lot of things trying to be brought to your attention as it pertains to communication, how you communicate, how you understand and perceive things, and how you experiencing love and relationships and partnerships and finances. This could also have been something that was maybe brought to the forefront in May and June of 2020 when Venus last retrograded over these same points that she's now going to be moving again. So it's been a year. She's traveled the entire zodiac. She's matured. She's evolved. She's coming back to the same spot. And something's going to be brought up once again to see how you've changed, what you've learned, how you see things differently in the area of relationships and partnerships. I'll let you take it from there. But then we've got Taurus new moon, and the Taurus new moon is going to be happening in your 6th house. So this could potentially be a new beginning of some sort, something that is set in motion, something that you're intending to do in terms of a new job, maybe a new work endeavor of some sort. The 6th house is work. It is something that is also involved with physical health, our physical body. So Taurus is also very physical, being that it's an earth sign. And this could be that you decide that you want to really step into more of your self-care routines. You want to take care of your body. You want to start working out more. You want to eat foods that are way more healthy so that you are really nourishing and cleansing this vessel that you have. That's the only vessel that you have to take you through this life, to hold your soul, to hold your spirit. So you are starting to learn the importance of valuing this body that you have, and really focusing on your healthcare regimes, your diet, your nutrition, your physical exercise plan. So these are all things that could potentially come to the forefront. Maybe it's even an animal. You're getting a new animal. The 6th house is small pets. This is a new moon there, something that you're going to be having for the long term that's physical, that's tangible. It's a potential. I just thought I'd throw it out there. But yeah, those are a couple of opportunities that might be coming to the forefront. You might even begin to set them in motion now, set your intentions, and then really start to see a manifestation of this occurring 6 months from now at the Taurus full moon. Finally, Sagittarius, we've got Jupiter moving into the sign of Pisces, and this is actually going to be your 4th house of home. And Jupiter is actually the ruling planet of your entire chart. So this is super beneficial, having something to do with you as a person, who you are, your identity, your persona, your personality, your physical body, the way that you look, the way you present yourself to the world, the way the world sees you. But it also ties in something pertaining to your home. And I think that Jupiter can mean that we're moving things around, so maybe there's a potential opportunity to move or expand upon your family. Jupiter is the planet of good luck, so this could mean that you are receiving some type of blessing, some type of gift, some type of benefit through home and family of some sort. I don't know how that might play out, but that's really exciting. It also, Jupiter in Pisces is very spiritual in nature, so I don't know if you're going to feel more unity, more connectedness, more compassion in the family environment, at home, where you are all very interconnected in a spiritual way. Or maybe you are growing spiritually. You're really growing down and laying down roots as it pertains to your spiritual belief systems, working with the world at large. When I think of Pisces in the 4th house, I think of somebody who has an easy time kind of traversing the underworld, those subconscious realms, maybe doing shamanic work of some sort, not being afraid to kind of face their shadows and do that deep diving spiritually, deep diving into ancestral work and things like that. So maybe it's things like that that you're doing as well. We'll have to see. But I think it sounds pretty positive overall. All right, Capricorn rising. So Capricorns, Venus is going to be entering the sign of Gemini, which is going to be in your 6th house. What this tells me is that you are going to have an opportunity to focus on how you engage in work relationships, and the way that you interrelate with people in the workplace is going to be coming to the forefront. You might find that you really enjoy or find pleasure in connecting with people through communication, through different chat mediums, or just sharing thoughts and learning through each other in the workplace. which could bring you a lot of benefit. It could bring you a lot of joy. You might also find that you want to spend a lot of time, or you are desiring to really focus your attention on your physical health, taking care of your body, taking care of your nutrition routines and your daily habits, and really focusing on new and different ways in which you can kind of indulge in healthier things, right? You might even get some downloads or some new ideas for different types of modalities that you want to try out. During the time that Venus is transiting the 6th house, you may feel a strong desire or a connection to service work, somehow connecting with people in relationship or working with friend groups or whatever it might be to be of service in some way, shape, or form with other people in one-to-one relationships. Then you've also got Mercury that's going to be retrograding this house later this month, which is going to bring a lot of introspection to the thought processes pertaining to these same areas of life, bringing a lot of things up to the forefront for you. And this may have actually been an area pertaining to work, pertaining to diet, the physical body, physical health, all of those types of things that was brought to the forefront last year when Venus retrograded May to June of 2020. So if you want to take a little mental adventure back to that time period and think, what was Venus trying to teach you back at that time when she was retrograde, making you very introspective about love and relationships and friendships, or what you value, how you value yourself, what truly brings you joy and pleasure in life, as it pertains to your work environment or your workout regime, your diet, your nutrition, your daily habits, your patterns in life. Maybe you're too overindulgent or whatever it might be, but Venus is back in that same spot. She's wanting you to relook over at things and see how much you've evolved, how much you've grown, and she's trying to come back over that point where Mercury will also be covering during the retrograde period. So that area is definitely in the forefront for you right now, Capricorn. And then Taurus new moon will be occurring for you in the 5th house, which is really a great house for the new moon to be occurring. The Taurus full moon, it is going to bring new beginnings, and you might be initiating something new. It's a brand new cycle in an area that pertains to creative self-expression. Taurus being the sign of Venus, Venus ruling creativity, and Venus rejoicing in the 5th house in Hellenistic ancient astrology says that this is a really big opportunity for you to step into doing something that you really love to do. Maybe you are starting to indulge and really cater to a hobby that you love, some type of creative self-expression that really brings you a lot of joy. Maybe even there is an opportunity to initiate some love and romance and dating if that's something that you are intending to do. This is, or something that you want to bring into your life. This is a great time to set those intentions in motion because you do have a new moon manifestation energy in that house of dating, love, and relationships. But overall, we also have Jupiter, which is going to be moving into your 3rd house, into Pisces. This is great news because the 3rd house, it is all about mindset. It's about communication. It's about our thought processes. So Jupiter is really going to help you expand in those areas, to help you see things from a broader and different perspective, to really open up your mind and help you be a little bit more optimistic and look at things in a more cheerful manner, being able to see a bigger picture viewpoint, a broader perspective of things. Maybe from a more spiritual standpoint, you're going to be understanding things and taking things in. This is going to be overall really positive for communication with other people on the daily basis. This can also bring a lot of luck and expansion and opportunity and just overall unity and harmony with people like siblings, relatives, people in your neighborhood, your neighbors, and in your community. So maybe you received some type of blessings or luck in these different departments, in these different areas. This also rules over things like travel, short distance travel. There may be an opportunity to do something like that, go on some short trips, or it rules over things like vehicles and transportation. So maybe you want to get a new car of some sort. This would be a good time to do that. You might be blessed with that opportunity at this point. All right, Aquarius. So we've got Venus moving into the sign of Gemini in your 5th house. This is a really great opportunity being that Venus is our relationships. It's how we interact in relationships, what we enjoy in relationships, what brings us pleasure, what brings us joy. And in Venus, that's intellectual stimulation. So this might be a great time for dating. If you are already partnered up, this is going to be a really good time to try to bring in a little bit more romance and fun and pleasure and joy and indulgence. So maybe you are going out and enjoying the finer things and sharing ideas back and forth and learning things with each other. Or maybe you are going out and dating and finding people to intellectually stimulate you. If you are not into the dating scene right now, maybe it's that you are finding different ways and trying out different things in terms of creative self-expression. You are expressing yourself. You are expressing your creativity and the things that you love to do because you love to do them, your hobbies, the things that bring you joy. This is overall such a positive house. It's the house of our childlike joy and wonder. Venus in Gemini is really fun. It likes to communicate. It likes to share things with other people. It likes to be entertained and is quite a social butterfly, likes to laugh and have a good time. So this is a perfect time to do just that when it's in the house of fun, right? Venus loves to be in the 5th house. She rejoices there in ancient astrology. And yeah, it looks like this is going to be really positive and beneficial for you. This might even bring positivity with your children. This could be really fun and stimulating time for you to really build upon the relationship that you have with your kids. Then you've got a new moon in the sign of Taurus happening in your 4th house of home and family, where you lay your roots. And this is amazing. Maybe it is that you are looking to purchase a new home. Maybe you're looking to move. Maybe you're looking to spruce up your home a little bit, do some renovations, do some landscaping. Taurus does rule over things like it's earth, so it's all about taking care of your yard, mowing the lawn, doing all of those kind of things. But I would say purchasing a home, looking to purchase something new in terms of some type of resource pertaining to the home. Taurus also rules over real estate. So yeah, really overall, it's a lot of purchasing and moving because Venus rules Taurus, which is also associated with Libra. That's the 9th house, which could indicate moving or whatever, expansion in some way, immersing yourself in other cultures somehow. Maybe you're, who knows, but it's looking pretty optimistic and beneficial. Maybe you're just expanding upon your family members, or there's something new going on at home. So anyways, that is looking pretty exciting. And if you are setting something in motion here, your wheels are spinning, you're planting a seed, this is something that could come to fruition within the next 6 months during the full moon in Taurus. All right, and then Aquarius, you've got Jupiter, the planet of luck, expansion, of higher knowledge and learning and teachers, moving into the sign of Pisces, and this is happening in your 2nd house. This is very, very positive. This is money, resources, bringing in something new, purchasing something. This is assets. This is luck and abundance. You're being given an opportunity of some sort to expand upon your resources, to make money in some type of way. Maybe you're learning something about money, how to invest in certain ways. And this is overall extremely, extremely positive. You might be getting some type of gift, or some type of abundance might be coming through for you. You might be getting some type of large sum of money that's maybe helping you to buy that house, or helping you to renovate your home, or do the landscaping that you've always wanted to do. Maybe you're buying something like a new boat or something like that to go with the home that you have. Who knows? But overall, man, Jupiter and Pisces in the 2nd house, it is looking nice, I would say. What you value in terms of money, there's just going to be a lot of fluidity, a lot of really beneficial energy, it's looking like, in the chart for you. A lot having to do with things that are physical and tangible in nature. We're talking money, we're talking home, but we're also talking fun. So it looks like you're going to be having a really enjoyable time in whatever it is that you're trying to, and what you're setting out to do right now. So best wishes, Aquarius. All right, and last but certainly not least, Pisces rising and sun. So Pisces, Venus will be moving into the sign of Gemini, which is going to be your 4th house. So this is really great energy because Venus rules Taurus. Taurus is all about money and finances and resources and taking care of things like your yard and landscaping. So I don't know if it's something that you're going to be doing to beautify your home, if you're going to be getting some nice ideas and trying many different things as it pertains to kind of sprucing up the home, making it more beautiful, making it more aesthetically pleasing, or if you're going to maybe have an opportunity to step into maybe a new home and bring something new in, or stepping into something that brings you a lot more joy and pleasure as it pertains to associating with your family, communicating with your family, bouncing ideas back and forth off of each other, really learning from each other, enjoying each other's company, having great conversation, witty banter, funny communication, laughing with each other. Gemini is all of those things, and Venus is what brings us pleasure. So there's a lot of positive energy coming into the home front, which is just going to bring you joy in general, right? Because Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces. There's a nice connection between you, what brings you joy, what you love, and your home and family. So this is a really beautiful energy. Also, this is something that could have potentially come up during Venus retrograde last year, during May to June of 2020. And now Venus has transited around the entire zodiac. She's coming right back to the point where she retrograded after she has evolved. She has expanded and she has learned a lot from that retrograde period, which is a time of introspection, all about relationships and friendships, what we value, what brings us pleasure, what brings us joy, our money and finances. So whatever it was in that home and family department dealing with the Venus significations, maybe you could take a little bit of a mental exploration backwards and try to think of what that could potentially be and what could be being brought back to the forefront now. And potentially with this Mercury retrograde, which is going to be taking place at the end of the month, which we'll touch on further in a further week's forecast. And then we've got the Taurus new moon. So let's see here, Pisces. The Taurus new moon is going to be happening in your 3rd house. There is an opportunity here to really get grounded and stable with your mental processes, your mindset. So if maybe you felt a little bit flighty lately, this is going to be a brand new opportunity to really step into a new sense of your mind. The 3rd house rules over things like communication, our mindset, learning, even different skills that we learn that are going to help us in a physical, tangible way, and general day-to-day busyness. So you might be starting to get a little bit more busy, and this is a really good time to set something in motion, to set some new intentions, to start some new beginnings as it pertains to learning something. This is a house of learning and development, learning new skills, taking care of the details of daily life as well. So if you feel like there's just a lot of busy tasks that you need to do, this is an excellent time to get all the daily busyness done. Responding to those emails, responding to text messages, doing paperwork, doing just the tedious little daily mundane things, sending out letters, returning packages, running errands. So those are a lot of things that could be coming to the forefront. But overall, this is a really great energy. New moon, you might even be somehow communicating or somehow involved with something in the community, something pertaining to siblings, relatives, and neighbors. And finally, Pisces, we've got Jupiter entering into your 1st house. Jupiter is entering its home, a place that it loves to be. It's bringing its most benefic nature, which is wanting to bring and bear gifts, wanting to bring you luck, joy, expansion, wanting to bring in teachers that help to shape and transform your life and help you see the world in different ways, and expanding your mind, expanding your consciousness, and shifting your belief systems. It's in the 1st house of who you are as a person. It's your identity. It's your self-expression. It's all the amazing things about you that Jupiter is going to be coming bearing gifts. So what I think is that this could really kind of change the way that you approach the world in general. It could totally change the way that people see you. It could change your identity completely. It could expand and expand upon what you've already set in place, set in motion, if that's what you choose, if you already kind of like what you're emitting, what you're putting out there. But this is, Pisces energy in general is spirituality. This could be really deepening you into more of your spiritual nature. You're stepping more into who you are as a spirit soul, connecting more with your higher self, really building that connection and beginning to embody it a little bit more. So we're talking spiritual awakening, expanding who you are as a person, your identity. And also a potential for a new teacher to maybe come into your life to help you really influence you and change and transform the person that you are. So thank you guys so very much for watching all of my forecasts, as well as the forecast for all 12 zodiac signs. I am really looking forward to starting these new weekly forecasts, and I will see you guys again next week for next week's weekly forecast. We've got a lot of juicy stuff coming up in the month of May and in the month of June. It just doesn't stop, you guys. So I would love if you'd leave me a comment below. Let me know how you benefited from this, if it resonates with you, whatever takeaways that you have. That way I can gain feedback and you let the YouTube algorithms not only know that you absolutely love this type of content, but that you like seeing videos from me. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button below, tapping subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thank you guys so very much. I love you all very much. Peace and namaste.